Hello everyone. We are studying about the erythropoiesis and erythropoiesis के दो लेक्चर्स हो चुके हैं. Today the part 3 and the final lecture of the erythropoiesis. In today's lecture we study about the factors which affect the erythropoiesis. Which are the factors which affect our erythropoiesis? Basically, the factors which affect our erythropoiesis are divided in three groups. First group of factors which affect the erythropoiesis is called the general factors. Second group of factors which affect the erythropoiesis is called the maturation factor. And the third type of factors which affect the erythropoiesis, that are called the factors which are necessary for hemoglobin formation. Right? So there are three types of factors which affect our erythropoiesis. First, general factors, then the factors which help or affect the maturation of the RBC production, and the factors which are necessary for the hemoglobin formation. Because if there is no hemoglobin, there is no meaning of RBC. Right? Now, let's talk one by one. First factor in the general factor is, and most important, is called the erythropoietin. समझना. Erythropoietin is a one chemical, okay, which stimulates our bone marrow to produce more and more RBC. Now this erythropoietin is secreted at the time of hypoxia. What is hypoxia? Hypoxia means decreased amount of oxygen in the body. Because of the hypoxia, they will stimulate the kidney. This erythropoietin is secreted basically from the kidney. Mainly from kidney. From small amount it will release from the liver, from small amount it is released from the brain, but basically from the kidney. This erythropoietin is released in the response of the hypoxia, and it will affect or stimulate your bone marrow to stimulate the more and more RBC production. How it affects this erythropoietin? They will stimulate the bone marrow to form the proerythroblast from the colony forming unit erythrocytes. Okay, the first step. Then the erythropoietin affect or stimulate the proerythroblast to form into the mature RBC. And again, the erythropoietin stimulate the mature RBC to release in the circulation. That's how your erythropoietin is stimulate the bone marrow, your body, to increase the amount of RBC production. Okay, so this is the first factor and most important factor which affect our RBC production. Next, thyroxine. Now, as we already know, thyroxine is a metabolic hormone. Thyroxine is generally increase all the process in our body, heart rate, pulse rate, all the process. So if there is high thyroxine will stimulate the production of the RBC. In general, all the activity of the body is increased by the thyroxine. Next, hemopoietic growth factor. In hemopoietic growth factor, there are interleukins, interleukin 3, interleukin 7. They will also stimulate the erythropoiesis, stimulate the RBC production. Then there are some vitamins. These vitamins also necessary for the RBC production. If there is no vitamins, few vitamins, then they may lead to anemia, decreased amount of RBC in the body. If vitamin A, vitamin B is not present, then there is anemia. But at the same time, what is the deficiency of vitamin B leads to pellagra. If vitamin C deficiency, obviously anemia, because it affects the erythropoiesis. Vitamin C deficiency, anemia as well as scurvy. Vitamin D deficiency, anemia as well as rickets. Vitamin E deficiency, anemia as well as in general malnutrition. Okay, so vitamins also necessary for the RBC production. These all are the general factors. Now let's talk about the maturation factor. This is the most important thing. First maturation factor which are important for RBC maturation is extrinsic factor. Or we call it a vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is called the extrinsic factor, which is very much necessary for the maturation of the RBC. Why it is very much necessary for maturation of RBC? Because it helps in the synthesis of DNA in RBC. Synthesis of DNA. जो विटामिन B12 ना હોય તો RBC માં DNA નું synthesis properly ના થાય, maturation બરાબર ના થાય. Okay, then comes the extrinsic factor. This is the extrinsic factor. Then comes the intrinsic factor. This is called the extrinsic factor. Why? Because it is taken in the body by the diet. डाइट में से ये हमको मिलेगा. दिस इज फ्रॉम इनसाइड ऑफ अवर बॉडी. ये हमारे बॉडी के अंदर बनेगा. कहां बनेगा? पैराइटल सेल्स ऑफ स्टमक. गैस्ट्रिक में से बनेगा, पैराइटल सेल्स में से. नाउ दिस इंट्रिंसिक फैक्टर इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाई? बिकॉज फॉर द एब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ विटामिन B12 यू रिक्वायर द इंट्रिंसिक फैक्टर. For the absorption of vitamin B12, which required for the synthesis of DNA, you require the intrinsic factor. So, if there is decreased intake of vitamin B12, then there is a immature RBC. If you take the enough vitamin B12, but there is a deficiency of intrinsic factor in your body, then also there is no absorption. Even if you are taking good amount of vitamin B12, but still you are not getting absorbed. Vitamin B12 is not getting absorbed in your body. Okay, so also there is immaturation in the RBC. Now what will happen if there is an immature of RBC? RBC बनेगा नहीं, RBC mature नहीं होगा, तो there will be anemia. There is an anemia, and anemia because of the vitamin B12 deficiency has a special name that is called the pernicious anemia. It is called pernicious anemia. And that's why vitamin B12 is called the anti-pernicious factor. Now, intrinsic factor, it is produced by the parietal cells of the stomach. In the case of gastritis, if there is inflammation of gastric, if there is a gastrectomy, if by surgery, if you remove some part of the stomach, if there is ulceration, so what will happen? Because in this condition our body cannot produce enough amount of intrinsic factor, and because of that also it leads to malabsorption of the vitamin B12 and it may lead to anemia. That is called the pernicious anemia. Okay, so extrinsic factor and intrinsic factor both are interconnected. Now third important thing for the maturation factor is folic acid. Now this folic acid is also important for the maturation of RBC. Okay, again synthesis of DNA is dependent on folic acid. If there is no folic acid, if there is a deficiency of folic acid, the RBC is not mature, and because of that there is anemia, because RBC is not mature, and that anemia is called megaloblastic anemia. Why it is called the megaloblastic anemia? Because we already know from stages of the erythropoiesis: pro-erythroblast, adenoroblast, intermediate, late neuroblast, reticulocyte, and mature RBC. Pro-erythroblast is of bigger size. Mature RBC is a smaller size. So when you move from first stage to last stage, our size will be decreased. When RBC becomes mature, the size will be less. In previous stage, the size will be large. It will be mega. So our RBC is not maturing. RBC will remain immature. So the size will be more. Size will be big. That's why it is called the megaloblastic anemia. Okay. Even this is also called the megaloblastic anemia, but it has given the specific name of pernicious anemia. If the size of the RBC is more, size of the RBC is big, Then the mature RBC 8 or 9 or 10 micron, then it's called the megaloblastic anemia. Okay, so these are the maturation factor which affect the erythropoiesis: extrinsic factor, intrinsic factor, and folic acid. And lastly, we talk about the factors which are necessary for hemoglobin formation, because if there is no hemoglobin, the RBC production is less. Okay, first class protein and amino acids. Amino acids and protein. Why they needed? For the protein part of the hemoglobin, which is the globin. For the formation of globin, you require the first class amino acid, first class proteins. Okay, then next thing, iron. Iron is very much necessary for the hemoglobin production. If there is a less iron in the body, then there is a deficiency of iron, hemoglobin is not formed and RBC is not functioning properly. Okay, iron is very much necessary for the heme part of hemoglobin. हीमोग्लोबिन का जो हीम पार्ट होगा उसको बनाने के लिए रिक्वायर्ड दी आयरन. ओके, देन कम्स द कॉपर. व्हाई कॉपर इज नेसेसरी? कॉपर इज नेसेसरी फॉर द एब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ आयरन. आयरन ना एब्जॉर्प्शन માટે you require the copper. Absorption of iron. Then cobalt and nickel. These are also required for the utilization of iron. For absorption, you require the copper. For utilization of iron, you require the cobalt and nickel. And lastly, some vitamins. Vitamin C, riboflavin, these all are required for the hemoglobin formation. So, if there is a deficiency of anything, the hemoglobin will not form properly. RBC is not formed properly. Okay, if there is deficiency of iron and because of that there is a anemia, it is called the iron deficiency anemia. Okay, so overall we study about the one or two: pernicious anemia, megaloblastic anemia, iron deficiency anemia. Okay, so these all are the factors which affect our erythropoiesis. Okay, so that concludes our topic erythropoiesis. This is the third and the last part of erythropoiesis. Again, we will meet in next important topic. Till then, bye and thank you.